Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to do a Halloween card using the stamp set from Inka Dinka Doo called Voodoo Doll. I will have a list of supplies down below in the description box. I went ahead and mounted the Voodoo Doll on my Fiskars compact press and am inking it up with my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'll be doing some Copic coloring today, and Memento Tuxedo Black ink is water-based and Copic markers are alcohol-based, so it works really well so it doesn't bleed. And I'll be fast forwarding it and talking you through it. So I first started off with E13 and kind of laying down the light color as the base. And then I'm going to come in with the mid color, which is E23, adding the shadows where I believe where they belong. And then coming back in with E13 to kind of blend everything in. And then finally coming in with my darkest color, which is E25. I wanted to color the eyes with BG10, but didn't want it to be so bright, so added N2 as a base first, which is a neutral gray, and then brought in R17 for the heart. Then I grabbed a 8.5 by 11, 110-pound cardstock and folded that in half, and grabbed a 5-inch circle die and got some blue tape. I actually ran the blue tape over hand a couple of times so it wouldn't be so sticky, and so then it won't rip the paper apart. And just ran that through a Big Shot machine. I forgot to record it, but I just showed you what that looked like. I then took a single layer of that cardstock and then die cut another 5-inch circle for the front of the card. And then we needed something to kind of hide the shaker piece, so I grabbed some cardstock, brought in a 5-inch circle die as well as a 4-inch circle die, held that together with some blue tape and ran that through the Big Shot machine. So I'm thinking of doing another Halloween card this week and then doing a holiday series with cards and crafts, so stay tuned for that. So I'm just going to use the middle portion of the die, so that piece right there. And all of my cardstock came from Recollections Haunted Estate series. And I want to go ahead and use this tag right here, so I'm going to fussy cut that out. And I want to go ahead and use that same stamp set for the Do Voodoo piece, but just want Voodoo. So I went ahead and masked off the Do and inked up the Voodoo. I inked it up using Memento Tuxedo Black ink and then carefully lined it up to my tag and stamped that on. And then next we moved on to the front of the card. I wanted to go ahead and do a really graphic black and white background. And the reason why I just wanted to choose black and white because I didn't want it to conflict with all the sequins we'll be having later. But the stamp I use is Hero Arts' Hero Hues Black. It's really great for detailed stamping. So next, after I completed the background, I grabbed everything and went ahead and lined up the base of the card with the front of the card and used some Tombow Mono adhesive and adhered that to the base of the card. And then I lined everything up. And I realized that I didn't really like the orange with the skin color of the Voodoo, so I decided to go ahead and cut out a green piece instead. I didn't film it because obviously it was the exact same steps. And then I went ahead and attached the Voodoo, grabbed some double-sided tape and went around the corners. And then I peeled off that layer and then added a second layer of double-sided tape. And of course you want 2 layers because you do want your shaker pieces to be able to move. And before I went ahead and added the acetate top, I went ahead and just grabbed my anti-static powder tool and went around that and peeled it off and then started adding my sequins. So I decided to kind of add the orange, black, silver, and purple. The purple, there's a little bit of it on the tag. You can't really see it, but I kind of want to tie that together. And so you don't want to add too much either because you do want it to be able to shake. So I went ahead now and added the acetate top, and I'm going to shake it around to make sure there's some movement. So if it was one layer, it'd be flat and it wouldn't be able to shake. And then I went ahead and grabbed the hidden piece I mentioned that we cut off. I grabbed some glossy accents to use as the adhesive and then just put the hidden piece together, the hideaway. And then grabbed the Voodoo doll and kind of aligned it up, and then grabbed some double-sided tape as well and attached that. For the legs and the arms, I just cut the adhesive in half and then just stuck that on there. And then after that, I went ahead and lined it up to the front of the card. Oh, here's a good tip. If you have some white parts when you're fussy cutting out, just use a black felt tip marker. I just use a Sharpie and then kind of go over around it, and that looks like it's a perfect cut. So now for some details, I went ahead and grabbed some red glitter glue. You can also use stickles, but that's just a generic one I got from Michael's, and went over the heart. And once that dries, I'm actually going to add some glossy accents to it, but I went ahead and kind of put it on the heart and kind of moved it around. And then next I'm going to go ahead and take the glossy accents and put it over the eyes. And if you've never used glossy accents, basically what it does is it makes things pop and look 3D. And once it dries, I'll zoom in and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. But there was an air bubble in that eye, so I kept poking at it. Because once it dries and there's an air bubble, you kind of see the air bubble. So I was kind of playing around with it and also pushing it to make sure it was kind of within the circle of the eyes. And then I'm going to zoom in. And so the heart, it looks like it has dried. So I went ahead and added the glossy accents. And as you can see on this, I actually put a little too much. So what I did was I went ahead and just grabbed a lead pencil, and then pushed it off. And this is exactly what it looks like when it dries. One thing I did forget to record, I took a white gel pen and colored in the teeth to make it a little bit whiter. That about finishes the card. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye!